Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division qualifying round edition for the Get Set Go tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, make sure that you do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guide for Master Division and for Pro and Expert by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Check them out, try them out, and you will not be disappointed. Link in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that all of that is suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So, let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to start by using a no movement, which means that we're not going to touch our target until it's time to adjust the rings. 4 bars of topspin, 4 bars of side spin to the left with a Kingslayer. Now, it is very important here now that you do not do the mistake that I'm doing here on the video. I zoom in too much, which means that I'm getting into this little glitchy spot by the edge of the rough and the sand. And now, when that happens, I kind of have to eyeball a little bit on what's going to be the correct adjustment. Obviously, we're not gonna danger going into the rough, but it could be making a a negative effect for the second shot. No curl whatsoever, we adjust max no elevation, power 3 ball settings is what we are using. We're looking to get up to somewhere between 345 and 355 yards to be correct. Now, we're gonna go for a rough bump here, and now you need to be quick, because if you do take your time here now and are not prepared, then you may not have the time to do all the things that is necessary. First and foremost, move up to do a fringe check. You see the +3, you do that quick and you do that as first. Now, we do go with 4.5 bar topspin and 2.5 bar side spin to the right. You can see here that we're looking to see the ball guideline. That's very important. We don't want it to cut off at the beginning of the green, so we want to make sure that we are seeing the ball guideline all the time and then adapting side spin. To give you a hint, when we do have a drive that is around 345 to 350 yards, then we're going to play with 2.5 bar side spin to the right. If we do have a drive that is longer than 350, it's going to be somewhere around 2.8 to 3 bars of side spin instead. Now, adjustment is going to be minus 10% elevation, and what I've done here now is that I made a base of plus 12 fringe check. So if I have plus 12 fringe check, I'm going to play it 72% slider, minus 10% elevation, power 3 ball settings. And then for every yard below plus 12, because plus 12 is max, then I'm going to deduct 0.1. So let's say that I have plus 3 here in the video. I deducted 0.9 from the base of 72% slider. So again, to make it try to make it a bit more simplified for you. Alright, let's say that 72% slider, minus 10% elevation, power 3 ball settings, give you a total ring adjustment of 8 rings. If I then have plus 3, then I do adjust 7.1. So 8.0 minus 0.9 is 7.1. Hopefully that makes sense. Ask in the comment section below if it doesn't. So this is a good chance with a perfect, with a great, to get this ball in the hole. Hole number 2, and now we're gonna start before spin here, very important. And here we want to have the bottom of the red ring by the rough line, and the ball guideline should show that it goes towards the pin. It might be a little bit tricky to find that spot, but don't be stressed, you will find it if you're just calm. You can see ball guideline to hole without any spin added. Then once after that, we shall apply 1 backspin, 1 left spin and make our adjustment. Now, medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 2 ball settings is 1:1 minus 0.1, so 7.9 rings for 8 miles per hour. You can push these rings as well. You may have a bit better visual, but I'm gonna pull these rings no matter what, because I'm so crappy in pushing rings. Bouncing on the fairway, up on that slope, goes down towards the green, and we drop it right side cup. This hole is gonna be by no means an auto drop. This is a very tough par 3 to drop, and a perfect with this adjustment suggested would always be close. But I cannot sit here to say that this is gonna be a money shot, as there are so many things that can happen along the way with all the bumpy parts on that freaking fairway. But it's a nice shot though on hole 2. On hole number 3, we are going to go aggressive here, but it's not going to be aggressive in a way where we will be risking the water in by any means. 2 right spin only, and now we're going to look, is this more tailwind or is it more crosswind? This angle is more tailwind, and then we're going to adjust max plus 10. Power 5 ball settings. Important part with the landing position is that you, with a POC 5, 6, 7 and 8, you use the bullseye to be just by the edge of the bunker. Once you have done that, we shall push up, and here we're going to push up differently depending on what wind strength we are having and also what wind angle. So when we do have 15.1 miles per hour, we do push up to plus 26 yard mark, so not to complete max distance. I'm using full curl to the right, but I must say that I'm lucky that I do hit great left, because with Apocalypse level 8 we do have a little bit more curl than what we do have with Apocalypse level 5, 6 and 7. So my recommendation is to remove a little bit of curl with Apocalypse 8 and keep max curl with Apocalypse 5, 6 and 7. The plan is to clip the rough. The plan is not to go over the rough with our second bounce. The plan is to clip the rough, roll out, and then do a pin check with Falcon. So now for the second shot, we do have Falcon level 8. And when it comes to Falcon here, we use the pin check. As you can see, it was plus 1 yard mark. Half of the red ring outside the rough is what I'm gonna end up doing. And the reason I want to do that, it's because we do want to have room for a possible misadjust with pull angle or something like that. You can see that I back up there. It's also very important that the ball guideline go through the hole 1 green square with topspin. No side spin whatsoever. Is not what we want. We don't want to use any side spin. Now from plus 1, Falcon 8 plays 25% slider, 10% elevation. If you play with Falcon level 6 or 7, you add 4%, so plus 1 would then equal 29% slider instead. Here in the video, I'm playing 27% slider, and the reason I'm saying that to you is because we drop on the right side of the cup, and that's why I'm removing 0.1 to the adjustment by removing 2%, and that's why 25% slider from plus 1, 10% elevation is what we're gonna use on hole number 3. For hole number 4, we are not going to add any spin whatsoever. We are only going to go directly by looking at the bottom left of the white ring to be by the rough line with the ball guideline to the hole. Not through the hole, so to the hole. You can also look at the second bounce to be approximately 1/3. Sorry, the third bounce being approximately 1/3 into the fringe. But I'm only focusing on the white ring to be by the rough, and then also ball guideline to hole. 8.3 miles per hour. I'm gonna play medium distance with a 30% over adjustment, power 0 ball settings. Adjust and try to hit perfect. This is also going to be a tough one to get dialed into 100%, but this is by far a better opportunity than hole number 2 to consistently drop on hole in 1. We love how the camera zooms out like that, and we know it's going to be close, and we're getting it right at pin for a beautiful hole in 1 here on hole number 4. Just because I play with a NASCAR ball doesn't mean that you have to play with that ball. So you can change to another Wind 5 ball if you have more of another type. Hole number 5, and here we're gonna play with a 4th anniversary ball. You can also play with the open ball, it has the same stats, and you can also play with a Wind 4 Power 4 ball as well. But we recommend to play with a Wind 5 ball because it will help the drive and also the second shot. 5 bars of topspin, 1 bar for right spin. Now we're looking to have the ball guideline to be in between the sand trap line to the left and then also the rough line to the right. Very important that you focus and get the correct spot, and that's gonna be just before the target turns into +1. Max +10 is what we are using, and then we're going to try to hit perfect. What it has been with testing is great lefts has been safe. I have yet to hit a great right. So there is a little danger with a bad great right, especially if you play with Apocalypse 5 or 6, which has a pretty bad accuracy. So have that in mind. You will still not have any problems to reach green for a safe birdie, but the eagle attempt might be gone if you hit a bad drive. Now, second shot, we're going to play with the B52. You can play with a Grizzly as well, but the guide here is for B52. Start by doing a pin check if you can. +7 is the number, but if you can't do a pin check, let's say that you have a short drive, then you're going to use the top of the white ring to read that plus yardage, and that's why I did both of it here in the video. So that was +3. Red ring by the start of the fringe, ball guideline through hole. So it's going to be somewhere around 3 bars to 3.5 bar of backspin, depending on how long or short drive you are doing. Now, for +7 pin check, I'm going to play this one 39% slider. However, though, I play it 41% in the video, and you can see that we do get this ball to drop right side of the cup. 45% elevation needs to be added as well, obviously. That 45% is gonna be tough. If we miss adding that elevation, then we're gonna miss miles left. So 45% elevation +7 equals 39% slider with a pin check. If we then have the top of the white ring by the pin at +7, then it's 47% slider instead. Okay, so before we watch the drive on hole number 6, I wanted to explain to you that I continuously work to simplify adjustment, especially when we are using a power hook or a power slice. Here we're going to play a power hook, and we are going to do that by only adjusting the power hook rings. So we're not going to do a regular adjustment, then push up, and then do the power hook rings, and risk then going out of time, which I've done plenty of times myself, because I'm not comfortable by doing all those things in a short amount of time. So we're going to start by looking at the drive, and we see 11.7 miles per hour. We're not going to touch the target. It's a no movement in that way. And we're going to just start by doing the power hook rings from, you're not stretched out, but from max rest position. I've adjusted 20 rings. Then we have adjusted 30 rings. And then in the end, I go to 32.5 rings for this shot. I base 12 miles per hour as 33 rings with Apocalypse level 8. 31 rings with Apocalypse level 7, and 28 rings for Apocalypse 5 and 6. Once that is done, we add spin, 6 bars of top spin, 2 bars of left spin. I would say that you can use more top spin here if you want to push it a little bit harder. I try to play a very close line on the left side here, because I want to get into wedge range and stop before these 2 bunkers, because I feel that using more topspin as the fairway slopes left to right is going to be very easy to get into those 2 bunkers. So I'm trying to make this drive in a controlled way to just lay up and then have a better chance making an albatross more consistently. But you decide, you decide what you want to do, obviously. This shot is also played with 6 bars of topspin, so those of you with Apocalypse level 5 actually can feel that you can play a similar shot. Now, second shot is gonna be a wedge, and here we're gonna be in many different places. But if we are around green, we shall always use max topspin on our club and adjust based on that. Those of you being comfortable with the Endbringer school, then use that method. Obviously that's gonna work. If you are having a wedge that is a bit further away from pin, my recommendation is to put your target into max distance. Adapt either topspin or backspin so the ball guideline is slightly short of hole. And then from that position you always adjust max plus 50 power 5 ball numbers. It might not be theoretically correct, but it works. And that's the only thing that is important. But in the end though, if you are so close to green that I am here, max topspin, make a little adjustment and get in the hole for an albatross here in hole number 6. For hole number 7, we are going to start by using a ball that gives you 3 bars of side spin. This is a weird replay, it doesn't show, but you're gonna start with 3 bars of side spin to the right and half a bar of backspin. So use a Win 5 ball that do have those stats. Once we have found then the blue ring by the rough line with the ball guideline through the hole, we change to any other Win 5 side spin 2 ball, because what happens then is that it will automatically give you 2 bars of side spin instead of the 3 bars, and that is exactly what we do want in the end. But to be able to aim for pin, to not struggle with finding the position, that's why we shall start with a side spin 3 ball and Win 5 to set up the position to then switch to the other ball. Adjustment is simple, 1 to 1. So medium distance plus 10 power 3 ball settings is 1 to 1 with adjustment. So if you have 8 miles per hour, you adjust 8 rings. This is a really good chance, in my opinion, getting an hole in 1. I would consider this one to actually be the best chance of the 3 par 3s. For hole number 8, we are going to play with a Kingslayer or a Centurion, depending on what ball you wanted to use of those two. If you have a very low wind with a Kingslayer, you can change to a Kingmaker as well if you want to. Because, you know, having a wind that is somewhere below 11 miles per hour or somewhere between 9 and 11 miles per hour is totally fine. Bullseye centered on the fairway, very important in complete max distance. That goes for Apocalypse 5, 6, 7, and 8. Max plus 10, max overpower with a slow needle, and max curl to the right. We use 7 bars of topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the right. Now we're looking to get somewhere around 420 to 430 yards. Now, the second shot, we're gonna play something called rings from min. It means that we're gonna go with our target to minimum distance of our club, and then we're gonna move up rings until we get to fringe. From fringe, we will then use spin and have the ball guideline through the hole. You will see it in action, and I'm gonna talk alongside, obviously. So we move to minimum distance. There is minimum distance, and then we're going to move up to the fringe and count the amount of rings that we are pushing up. In this scenario here, we're using 15 rings when we're pushing up. Adapt with, or like adjust with backspin. Backspin shall be so the ball guideline go approximately 1 green square or like half a green square through the hole as the cup stands in the middle of a green square. So half a green square through the hole. Now, adjustment is gonna be over the bullseye always. It doesn't matter how little or how much you're gonna adjust. It's gonna be over the bullseye, and we adjust 9% slider, no elevation for this shot. Those of you having the possibility to play with Thorn can also do that. The Thorn is actually easier when you play rings from in, because every ring is 1%. So if you would be pushing up 15 rings with a Thorn, which we won't be doing, but for the sake of the example, 15 rings then would be 15% slider. So it would be easier in that case to use the Thorn, especially if you are not that comfortable with the rings from min method. But you know, adjusting with the rings from min, hitting perfect, this shot is money and will drop for you every time. Hole number 9, and we're gonna play a no movement here with our drive. So don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. 3 bars of topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. Once that is done, we shall apply an adjustment that's going to be max plus 10 power 5 ball settings. And once we have done that, we shall obviously try to hit perfect. We want to center the ball and make sure that we're not having any overpower, underpower, or curl. And then we're going to be happy. We're looking to get somewhere around 365 to 375 yards on this shot. Perfect ball, and you will notice here in the video that we will get up to 369 yards, and that yardage is important to remember Not because we're going to go for the albatross, it's because that yardage is going to be helpful for us to know the adjustment for the second shot to lock in the eagle. Because the eagle here is as equally important as getting the eagle on hole number 8. I consider an eagle here a drop because the albatross is out of reach completely. It's only when you do have a little tailwind on the second shot where you can use the guardian. Look at the ball guideline. 5 topspin, 2 right spin, second bounce just above the bunker, and then the ball guideline to point or to the right of the center of that bunker. From 369, we're gonna use 50% slider, so it's mid-distance minus 5%. Obviously, if you have a longer or shorter drive, then you will have to adapt that slider. Perfect ball is what we want, but a great ball here surprised me a lot. Not that it missed the rough. I was expecting it to miss the rough with the second bounce, but it surprised me that it actually stayed before the rough at the top of the green, which is good to know, because if we're lucky then it will stay there, but you know, most of the times it will roll into the rough. But the rough iron there is not that difficult. But the best of the worlds is that we do have the first bounce on fairway, second bounce into the rough to roll out onto the green and take an eagle and move on from hole number 9. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division Qualifying Round Edition with the tournament win here for the Get Set Go tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to get the ultimate tournament guides for Master Division, the by far the best guides for Master out there. Patreon.com/GolfClashTommy is in the description down below. Thank you once again for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.